this is Umar, and you are watching Voice of Canada. As we know, the election is going to happen very soon regarding the Borogh mayor, and we will discuss about this, and we will talk. We have a guest, a reputable guest online, Dimitrios Jim Weiss. He's candidate for Borogh mayor. Thank you, Mr. Jim, for your precious time for Voice of Canada. First of all, I would like to know that how much do you expect to win this election?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me on the show. Salam alaikum to all the people that are watching this. I never ever have taken any election for granted. I've never ever expected ahead of time to win. I've always said to myself and my team that we never win up until the night of the election when the votes are counted. We can never be sure during an election who will ever win. We just have to continue doing what we've been doing for years, working with our community and being present, and hopefully have the privilege to represent our community again for another mandate.
Mr. Jim, are you satisfied with the election campaign in respect of COVID-19 strictness?
Well, as we know, COVID has affected the world in terms of how we manage all spheres of society. And when you look at the election process, certainly all safeguards will be taken into consideration to try to maximize the number of people that are voting, making sure that everyone is protected, not only the folks that are voting, but also the people that are working the poll stations. And so, I mean, we looked at and proposed to the city of Montreal that we allow, especially for our older population, the mail-in right to vote. And unfortunately, that was rejected on a number of occasions. So what we're saying is that people should have confidence in the safeguards in place to be able to protect them, but above all, exercise their right to vote, as usually we get in all municipal elections, approximately 40% of the population voting, and that is extremely low. And so we want to encourage people to be involved in the democratic process. But I'm optimistic. We've seen now that with COVID, there have been some changes and allow us to live some type of normalcy back in our lives as long as we take the proper precautions. And this is what we're hopeful as we move forward to the election days.
Mr. Jim, what steps have been taken to counter or control car hit incidents, especially in the West Island?
Certainly, we know that with traffic and speed and reckless driving, it has become now an issue that is really impacting not only my community, but communities throughout the West Island, as I have been in direct communication with other mayors. We know that we have a very active traffic committee where we have members of our police, our fire department, our city engineers, and others that are working together to not only analyze some of the problematic areas, but to put measures in place to minimize all accidents and to minimize the speed in these areas that result usually in a lot of the problems that we see throughout the territory. And so we have taken measures throughout the territory to be able to reduce the speed around parks and schools, particularly to 30 kilometers an hour. We've proposed and placed many speed curbing measures, such as freestanding markers, some speed bumps throughout the territory, inform the police, of course, because traffic is a police initiative and needs to be controlled by the police, and provide them with the support that they need from the city to be able to at least work with our community and educate our public to not use excessive speeds on our community. But there is still a lot of work to be done. And if we see that we are reelected come November 7th, one of the things that we will look at with our administration is certainly all of the things that I've mentioned already, but also analyze the possibility of reducing the kilometers and the speed limit on the local streets to 30 kilometers an hour, which will give a lot more tools to the police to be able to address a lot of these issues that we deal with every day.
Mr. Jim, may I know what's your manifesto for this election?
Certainly, we have a lot of things on the list. I mean, we're looking at completing our aquatic and recreational center. We look at the economic development plan that we created a couple of years ago that will be vital in the post-pandemic relaunch of our commercial industry. We look at the development that we have in communication with all our cultural communities and how do we bridge the gap and make them feel a part of the community. As I also come from a cultural community, we feel it's necessary that we celebrate in harmony the diversity of our community, which we've always done. I mean, we look at the mitigating measures to reduce any impact of the major flooding that our community has been faced with the last number of years. And we have a series of other things as well, is to continue the public transit, the active transit, and the way we get to the new proposed train stations in our community to allow people to leave their cars either in a parking lot or at home to be able to take public transit and impact less the environmental footprint that we leave with our community, as well, of course, as acquiring the different land that we want to maintain its ecological importance, as well as the thousands of trees that we plant every year in our community. And so that is a small snapshot of some of the manifesto and some of the platform that we have in our community. But certainly for me, it's always been important that we give a voice to the public, represent our community in the best way we can, and also be present, as all of us have been for decades of our life, in the community, entrenched in the community, helping and providing the necessary support to those that are often the most vulnerable in our community. And so this is, for me, what really represents myself and my team here in Pierrefonds Roxborough, and also with the Ensemble Montréal with our leader, Denis Coderre.
Okay, Mr. Jim, in which areas do you think that people will see improvements in Montreal?
Well, I think that when we look at the improvements, should our party and should our team win in Pierrefonds, is of course to provide a voice to the citizens, but also I think the relaunch of our metropolis, the city of Montreal being the second largest city in Canada, should be able to bounce back post-pandemic. It's going to take some time, but I think our party, and I believe strongly that our party has the leadership necessary and the expertise and people that have been involved in the communities for really decades of our lives that can bring about some positive impact to be able to improve following the pandemic. And so the other thing that we do, and the name of our party says it best, Ensemble Montréal, which means togetherness. And we are the party that strongly represents the communities within Montreal and bridges the gap to be able to provide the necessary resources and support to not only the mainstream population, but also those that are most affected by the pandemic and other social issues that affect them every day. And so I believe that with our party and with the leadership that we have shown, the metropolis that we are, we can provide at least all of those resources to be able to bring back our city to the level that we've been used to and we know of, and what we are proud to call home here, away from our native countries, to call home Montreal, being the diverse and harmonious community that we are. We are also looking at, for example, the safety, and providing the resources to the police to be able to do their job on a regular basis, to create some social peace within the different communities of Montreal. And these are all issues that I think we work on day in and day out. But I believe with our leadership following the next election, we can really work towards maintaining some of that.
Okay, Mr. Jim, in last, I would like you to give a message for your well wishers regarding this election campaign.
You. Well, my last comments are that first of all, I'm very appreciative and thankful for all the support that I have received the last 12 years I've been elected. And also, if I have a message for everybody, is to go and vote, and to vote for the people that you believe can bring about the most change in your community, and the ones that have been involved historically for the people that we represent. And hopefully we get the right people that are in the right positions managing our cities. So that would be my last and final message, to encourage everyone to participate in their democratic right to vote. And hopefully we see you again after the election and represent you with my team as I've done the last 12 years of my career. Thank you very much to all, and I wish everyone a wonderful day.
Thank you, Mr. Jim, for your precious time for Voice of Canada and best wishes for your election. It was an exclusive discussion regarding the Borogh Mayor election, and for further updates regarding Montreal, Quebec, and Canada, you can visit our website voiceofcanada.tv. I'm II Umer Khan signing off from Voice of Canada.